Have you ever faced the risk of losing your family because of the person you love most? This powerful Inuit legend explores the fine lines between power, love, and brotherhood, and teaches what true leadership really means. In the village of Itijuak, on the shores of the northern Arctic Sea, the village leader, elderly Tapisa, had two sons. His eldest son, Manaami, was 32 years old, a strong and brave hunter. His younger son, Yuki, was 29 years old, an intelligent and diplomatic character. The two brothers had been very close to each other since childhood. Manaami had always protected his little brother, and Yuki had always supported his older brother. The villagers would point to the bond between these two brothers as an example. "Brothers like Manaami and Yuki are very rare," said the elderly shaman Pivituk. "They show what true family bonds mean." While Manaami was known for his physical strength, Yuki was famous for his clever strategies and diplomatic skills. Together, they would solve the village's most difficult problems. That autumn, a new family moved to the village. The Tamana family from a neighboring village settled in Itijuak with their daughter Aria. 26-year-old Aria was both very beautiful and extremely intelligent. She had mastered traditional Inuit craftsmanship and was also talented in healing. When Manaami first saw Aria in the village square, he encountered a feeling he had never experienced in his life. "This woman is different," he thought. "I need to talk to her." That same evening, Yuki also saw Aria. He felt the same sense of enchantment. "How graceful and intelligent she looks," he murmured to himself. That night, both brothers were thinking about the same person in their homes, but they were still unaware of each other's feelings. The next day, Manaami courageously approached Aria. "Hello, I'm Manaami. Welcome to our village." Aria smiled. "Thank you, I'm Aria. I've received such a warm welcome from everyone. If you'd like, I could show you around our village. I can show you the best hunting grounds." "That's a very kind offer. I accept." That day, Manaami showed Aria all the important places in the village. Aria was impressed by his courage and knowledge about the village. That same evening, Yuki also approached Aria. "I heard Manaami showed you our village. Maybe I could tell you about our village's history." Aria accepted with curiosity. "I'd love that. I really enjoy history." Yuki told her about the village's legends, traditions, and stories. Aria was enchanted by his intelligence and cultural knowledge. This situation continued for days. The two brothers unknowingly began competing for Aria. Manaami would teach her hunting and show her the intricacies of fishing. Yuki would write her poems and tell her ancient stories. Aria liked both of them, but for different reasons. While Manaami's strength and courage impressed her, Yuki's intelligence and courtesy were also attractive. The villagers began to notice this situation. "The two brothers are showing interest in the same girl," said the elderly woman Nana. "This won't end well." The two brothers were still unaware of each other's feelings. Each thought the other was just being hospitable. A month later, a harvest festival was organized in the village. During this festival, young people would dance and choose their partners. Manaami decided to invite Aria to dance, but just then Yuki approached with the same intention. "Aria, would you dance with me?" said Manaami. "I'm sorry, brother, but I was also going to invite Aria to dance," said Yuki with surprise. The two brothers looked at each other. At that moment, everything became clear. Do you also like Aria?" asked Manaami. "Yes, very much. What about you?" "Me too." This moment of realization shocked them both. Their brother, with whom they had shared everything for years, was now their rival. Aria understood the situation and felt uncomfortable. "Maybe I should skip this dance," she said. "No," said Manaami. "This is my fault. I'm withdrawing." "No, I'm withdrawing," said Yuki. "You're my older brother." This courtesy contest made Aria even more uncomfortable. "Please let me make this decision. I want to spend time with both of you, but separately." From that night on, the relationship between the two brothers changed. They were now in competition, but they did it politely. 2 months later, the elderly leader Tapisa became ill. When he was on his deathbed, he called the village elders. "Villagers, I'm old now. Someone must lead in my place." The village elders discussed for a long time. Finally, 2 candidates emerged, Manaami and Yuki. "Both brothers are suitable for leadership," said the elderly shaman Pivituk. "Manaami is strong and brave, Yuki is smart and diplomatic." "So how will we choose?" asked elderly Naina. "Let's organize a competition. Whoever wins becomes the leader." This proposal was accepted. The competition would consist of 3 parts: strength, intelligence, and leadership skills. The 2 brothers accepted this competition, but the tension between them had now increased. They were competing not only for Aria, but also for village leadership. "May the best win," said Manaami. "Yes, may the best win," said Yuki. But both had the same question in their hearts: who will Aria choose? Aria was very unhappy about this situation. She loved both brothers, but in different ways. She also didn't want to come between them. "I should leave this village," she thought. "My presence is making them enemies." The day of the competition arrived. The entire village gathered in the square. The first test was a strength test. Manaami and Yuki had to lift large stones. Manaami won this test because he was physically stronger. The second test was an intelligence test. They had to solve the village's most difficult riddles. Yuki was more successful in this test. The final test was leadership skills. The 2 brothers had to solve a real problem in the village. At that time, the village's water source had become polluted and fish were starting to die. Manaami proposed strong solutions. "We need to find the source of pollution and physically clean it." Yuki proposed diplomatic solutions. "We should make agreements with neighboring villages for a joint cleaning program." Both solutions were logical. The villagers had difficulty making a decision. That night, when the 2 brothers were alone, they spoke openly for the first time. "Yuki, this competition is ruining our relationship," said Manaami. "You're right, brother, but we both want to be leaders. And we both want Aria." "Yes, that's true." There was a long silence. "Maybe one of us should withdraw," said Yuki. "But who? And from what?" There was no answer to this question. The next day, Aria called both brothers. "Manaami, Yuki, I need to talk to you." Both waited with curiosity. "I'm very unhappy about this situation. I love you both very much, but in different ways. You're brothers, and I don't want your relationship to be ruined." "So, what should we do?" asked Manaami. "I've decided to leave the village." "No!" they both shouted together. "This is the only solution. This way your relationship won't be ruined." Yuki spoke with a thoughtful expression. "Aria, if you won't leave, I'm giving you up." Manaami was surprised. "Yuki, what are you saying?" "Brother, you've been in love with her longer, and village leadership suits you better too. I'm giving up both." This sacrifice deeply affected Manaami. "No, Yuki, I'm giving up. You're smarter and should be the leader." "You're both very good people," said Aria with tears. "But my decision is final. I must leave." That night, the 2 brothers talked for a long time. The next morning, a big meeting was held in the village square. The result of the leadership competition would be announced, but Manaami and Yuki came out together. "Villagers," said Manaami, "you don't need to choose a leader between us." "Because we've decided to lead together," said Yuki. The villagers were surprised. "What do you mean?" asked Pivituk. "I'll handle physical security and hunting," said Manaami. "And I'll handle diplomacy and village administration," said Yuki. "But what about Aria?" The 2 brothers looked at Aria. "Aria, if you stay, you don't have to choose between us. You can be friends with both of us." Aria was surprised. "Really?" "Yes," said Yuki. "We're brothers. No woman can come between us. You'll become part of our family too." This solution made everyone happy. Aria stayed in the village, but instead of forming a romantic relationship, she became a close friend to both brothers. As time passed, Aria married someone else. The two brothers also built their own lives but always remained close. "Sometimes the greatest victory is not winning," said elderly Tapisa before he died. The two brothers, by leading the village together, brought it to its most successful period. When Manaami's strength and Yuki's intelligence combined, the village became both safe and prosperous. Years later, among the stories told in the village, the sacrifice of two brothers became the most beloved. This story teaches us that true love sometimes requires letting go. Family bonds are stronger than any emotional conflict, and true leadership happens not alone, but through cooperation. The story of Manaami and Yuki shows how powerful cooperation is instead of competition, and common good instead of individual interests. Friends, while listening to this story, did you think, "Have I ever experienced such a sibling relationship?" I know how normal competition within families can be, and how difficult it is to overcome it. The maturity shown by Manaami and Yuki is an example for all of us, isn't it? Sometimes in life, we have to give up the things we love most. But this sacrifice makes us stronger, wiser. The story of the two brothers shows that sacrifice is actually not a loss, but a gain. If this story touched somewhere in your heart, click that like button, because these stories aren't just entertainment, they're life lessons. I'm curious in the comments. Have you ever had to choose between someone you loved and your sibling or close friend? How did you act in that situation? Your real stories might inspire the next video. Don't forget to subscribe because I'm here with you every day. Not just to tell stories, but to grow together, to learn together. This channel has become our family now, hasn't it? Until we meet in the next story, hug your family a little tighter. Sometimes our greatest treasures are the people right next to us, and we don't realize it. See you soon.